So today I would like to take a look at some of the samplers, loopers, and delays that were released this year. There were so many unique modules released. Thanks again to all the developers for working so hard on them and letting us experiment with them for free. If you also enjoy these modules, please consider supporting the developers for all the great modules they released this year and for everything yet to come in 2025. Now I would like to start with a few loopers from Sickozell. They were released back in January, and there is one with 5 channels, one with 3 channels, and also one that is only 1 channel, but it has an expander you can use to add more channels as you see fit. They all can be synced to a clock. They can play one shots in reverse and so on. Here, for example, I have a kick and a snare just to keep time, just to show you that everything is in sync. Right, simple kick and snare. And here I have the 3-channel looper, right, and the FM operator that I can play and loop a bit. Right, I have already, let me zoom in. I have the looper already synced with the clock. And now, for example, I will use channel 1 and I can set how many measures or how many bars I would like to record. So let's say I would like to record 4 bars. I can also turn on pre-roll. So now it's set to 2. So it will count 2 bars before it starts recording. I can turn on a click track, right? So I know where I am in the bars. And now I can hit record, right? So now 1, 2, and now it will record. Right, and we have these chords playing. Right, it recorded 4 bars, and it will play it back. Right, I can record also channel 2, for example, with just 2 bars, let's say. Right, maybe let it play in reverse. And then channel 3, maybe with 3 bars, so it's not always sitting together with the 2 first channels. Right, something like this. I can turn off the click now. Right, so we have 3 channels looping, 3 channels recorded, everything is in sync together with the drums, as you can hear. I will add some delay to this. I have here the delay for surge. Right, and again we have also the 1-channel looper. So in this case I have a sequence with slips, sequencing kick all, right, and I have 2 channels, so I have the main module and 1 expander, right, so I can use 2 channels to record. I have here, if I unmute this, I have here a sort of a bass sequence with kick all, right, so it will record 4 bars. Sequence, and now this is the recording. Right, and now maybe I will take this 2 octaves up, right, and record a sort of a melody, 2 bars of a melody. Right, so now we have again 2 different loops, one 4 bars, one 2 bars. We also have, in the case of the 1 channel or the expander, we have also CV inputs, for example, for the reverse. So I can use this gate here from the sequencer to turn on and off the reverse. Right, so sometimes it will play in reverse, sometimes it will play forward. Now, of course, it's also possible to save the recordings in the right-click menu. There are all sorts of options here, but there is also import wave and export wave, so you can save your samples. In the case of the 3-channel looper and the 5-channel looper, you can also save presets together with the loops and everything and load them, of course. if you want to use also presets. So again, these loopers are very deep and very useful for all sorts of compositions. The next module is a delay from MusX that was also released in January. It's full of character, I love it. It's a BBD delay with internal noise and filtering. It has tap tempo and it sounds glorious, really. Here I have a simple sequence with slips, sequencing the oscillators module here from the same collection. Right, a very simple sequence. Right, so now I will add some delay to this. I change the low pass filter. Add some noise. Even input gain. Play with the feedback. It has so much character. Now this has also, the feedback has also a CV input, so here I have an envelope triggered from the sequencer. I can just use it to bring in the feedback every now and then. Right, and create sorts of swells. It's also a great chorus module. Here I have a bass drone, again with the oscillators module. It's already going here through the delay, so I will bring it up, let's say about 50%. And now here we have the inverted R. This will invert the wet signal for the right channel, and you can see it says also chorus mode. Right, so I will click it, and now we need shorter delay times. I can change the stages, the number of stages all the way down, and then here we have, let's say, about 45 milliseconds. Right, and of course with modulation it works quite nicely. Right, so an interesting chorus as well. And you can also use it as a very crunchy looper. If I take the stages all the way up, this will give us more than 6 seconds of delay, which means that we can sort of loop Fripatronic style. Again, I have here the FM operator. I'll just take the feedback up, right, maybe open the cutoff a bit more input. And again, it's very crunchy, you will hear it in a second. The next module was released in April. It's the Good Cholesterol from Biset. It will process signals polyphonically with multiple playheads, playing back the audio in different ways, and it works with 2 additional modules, Omega 3 and Omega 6, of course. Here I have a simple sequence with the orb sequencer sequencing dark energy. Right, you can see it's already going here through the module, and I can change the buffer size or the delay time. In this case, let's go with 3 seconds, let's say. You can also sync it to a clock if you want. Right, and now I can change the playback point, and this will be basically just like a delay. Right, or you can also scan through this with this funny sound. But again, this works really nicely with Omega 3, for example. So again, this works polyphonically. If I set the channels to 5 channels of polyphony, we will have now 5 playheads, and I can use this, for example, to offset the phase. Right? So now we have 5 taps of delay. I can also change the relationship between the timing between the taps with the shape, with the curve. Right, so again, now we have multiple positions for the playheads, but there are different modes, and I find the speed mode a bit more fun. So we have phase beat, and then we have speed, and now we can change the speed of the different playheads, and this will work better with Omega 6. Omega 3, you can see we have offset and scale, but Omega 6 has from and to, so we can set exactly the starting pitch and the ending pitch. So this again is set to 5 channels. This will go to the speed. In this case, if I click this twice here, I can also quantize the input here to octaves. Right, so now I can set from and to. Right, so we have different playheads that will scan through this at different pitches basically. This can be also in reverse. Right, and again also here we can change the timing. Right, so again, multiple playheads in one module. There is also a grain mode, which is also quite fun. Here I have just a drum sample playing. Right, again, it's going through the module. So I'm going to take the mix all the way up. It's already set to grain mode. And now I can use 1 Omega 3, and as you can see, I'm randomizing the offset here. So 1 Omega 3 to modulate or to control the phase. So now we have 4 playheads. I have here Omega 6 to spread the pitch a bit. Right, and another Omega 3 to spread the grains, to control the grains. Right, I'm going to send this also through a bandpass filter, a modulated bandpass filter. Here I have a simple bass drone with another module here, the good, the bad and the ugly from Biset. Simple bass drone, and I have here another sequence, again sleep sequencing kick all, and good cholesterol is processing this live with 3 playheads. The next modules I would like to show you are from Stochastic Telegraph. They were released in August, and you can build your own looper with them with multiple playheads, granular playheads, and so on. The main module you will need is the memory module. With it you can load and save audio, and you do need it all the time when you want to build a system. But for recording we need another module. This is the embellish module. It just needs to be next to one of the modules here, right on the right, and you can see there is a light going on. Right, again, in this case I will use again an FM operator. Now we can also see what's going on with the depict module. Again, it just has to be next to the modules. And then for playback, for the playheads, we need the ruminate. Again, just has to be next to it. You see there is a light. Right, and now I will change the length. In this case, it can go up to 10,000 seconds, I guess, which is quite a lot. I will go with 5, and then you have to hit reset, so it will actually set the time. And now again, just record something. Right, just like this. Right, and now play it back. Right, and it will just continue playing it back. I can just duplicate, ruminate, and then we have, you can see another playhead in the color of the light here. I can let this, first of all I will connect it of course, and then let it play, let's say, an octave down, which will be 0.5. Right, so half speed. Right, I can have even another one. Again, connect this, maybe let this play in reverse, so this will be -1. Right, and like this you can build your own looping system. I will add some delay to this. Now we have also another module, the fixation module or expander, if you will, right? This one here. I have here a random sequence with slips, sequencing arrows, and again I have here the embellish module for recording, and I will just leave recording on, so it will always overdub the new notes, the new random notes. Right, and now with fixation, we can play back snippets of this audio, similar to a granular effect. You can use a clock, so it will play only together with the clock, but you can also let it run freely. Here we have different styles or different modes. If we set this to the second mode, the playback will be according to the position and the length. Right, and again we can have more of them, so I will have another one, let's say playing again an octave down, and another one, let's say playing an octave down but in reverse, negative 0.5, right, and this works great with modulation, so modulating the position and the length, right, and we get a really interesting granular effect. You can see this here also on the picked expander here. Right, so really interesting. Of course, this works really nicely also with a nice reverb. So I take the dry all the way down, just add the wet. Right, a nice cloud. Right, so again, lots and lots to explore here. There are many different things you can do with this system. I'm going to add a bass to this. I have here a phrase sequencer, sequencing the classic VCO. Filter delay, another sub oscillator. The 4MS collection was released in September, and with it we got two delay modules, so the topographic delay and the dual looping delay. Both are quite interesting and can be useful for different results. So here, for example, I have the probe key from impromptu sequencing the FM operator. Right, and the interesting thing about the topographic delay is that we can create our own tap rhythms or delay rhythms just by clicking this button here and creating the rhythm. Right, if I take the density down here. Right, you can hear we get a different rhythm, and you can use this also with velocity, with a filter and so on. There's really a lot to explore here. It has also presets that we can switch between and even crossfade between. Right, so here I have slips sequencing Basel, and I have here in the right-click menu of the topographic delay, under alt parameters we have modes. I have it set to sequence, so it will sequence between the presets and will morph between them, right? So it will crossfade between them. Right, so we have all sorts of different rhythms. And again, we have also the dual looping delay. It's a great delay module, but it's also a fun looper. Here I have again the FM operator that I will play into the looper. And then I can just hold and they will loop. Right, we also have reverse CV inputs. I have here chances that will add probability to the clock. So it will reverse once the first channel, once the second channel. Right, just create a nice atmosphere. And again, it's also a nice delay module. Here I have a bass with kick all, a chorus, some distortion, a filter. This is going through the delay, and the delay has, the DLD has also send and return per channel. So in this case, I'm using this with a high pass filter. This is the bass. And it has also, it's called here delay feed. It's not feedback, it's feed as in input gain. We can feed the signal into the delay. Right, and it has also CV input, so we can do this at specific times. For example, here I have a clock division of 10. So only with the clock division, this bass will actually go into the delay. It will feed into the delay. Of course, there were more interesting modules released this year. I cannot show them all in this video, but for example, we have two crazy loopers from the Strange Agency that were released in January. I have here just a drum loop, right? So for example, with Hexnut, I can record it or write, right? And then read it and create all sorts of weird sounds. Right, something like this. There is also the hex grain, which again we can write, but in this case it will work like a granular recorder. So it will record snippets. Right, and again we'll create all sorts of crazy sounds. You can really experiment with this. We have also a CV looper and a CV delay from Impromptu. The Note Echo was released in February, and the Note Loop was released in August. The Note Echo again is a delay, but for CV, so it will delay. It will create a delay effect for sequences, for example. Right, you can change the delay time and also transpose things. You can add modulation. Right, add also probability. Right, all sorts of things. And again, with the loop, with the CV loop, let's say we loop 8 steps, we can just loop the CV. Right, if I mute the dark energy. Right, now it just looped. The CV, again, it will not loop the sound itself, so you can always change things. Right, while it's looping. And then here we have also a new delay from CV Funk. We have the trio or tri delay, which is also quite interesting. Also lots of character. Listen to this. It has panning. You can also change the timing of the taps individually. Right, the panning modulation, the feedback. Right, so really lots and lots of character. I hope you will go and explore some of these modules. Again, please consider supporting the developers for their work. Have fun. Cheers.